Welcome to my class in continuation with statistical tools and interpretation. We are doing index numbers as we said earlier. They are specialized averages. They are expressed in terms of percentage, but the percentage sign is not used. We've done that in the earlier classes. And in this class, we are going to talk about the problems that one faces when one makes index numbers. So there are few problems about what is the purpose, what are the commodities, which prices, and all of that, which we are going to learn. Once you know that, you'll be able to write about it. So just let me tell you. So problems in construction of the index numbers is that, let's learn it up as what? Learn it up as PCB WARF. Physics, chemistry, bio, that is PCF, PCB. PCB WAR, WARF. Okay. So WARF. So what is P? P stands for, one big problem is, what is the purpose of index numbers? That is very important. Then C for commodities. What commodities will you select when you are making the index numbers? Then B stands for base year selection. Which is the base year that you will take, which you will select for making these index numbers? Then with W you have, what is the system of weighting? The weights, how are you going to make those? A, which is the average that you're going to select? Which is an appropriate average that you're going to select? R, what are the prices that you will select? Which is the representative price that you will select? And F is for formula. Which formula will you select? Like Fisherian formula is supposed to be the most accepted one. So once again, learn it up. So problems in construction of index numbers is PCB WARF. PCB WARF. PC is purpose of index numbers. Then C is for commodities. Which commodities will you select? Base year, again, which base year you're going to take, which you're going to select. Which are the weights that you're going to take? Which is the average that you're going to select? Which is the price, the representative price that you're going to select? And the formula that you're going to select. Alright. So based on this, we are going to learn, or I'm just going to explain. I think it's simple for you. So okay, let's just take the first one, the purpose of index number. So there are various types of index numbers constructed with different objectives. Now before constructing an index number, the purpose must be clearly decided. There is no all-purpose index. If we intend to study the problem regarding real and monetary wages of worker, then we should construct the retail price index. Okay. So if you're talking about that, similarly, if the objective is to get the knowledge regarding changes in money value, then wholesale price index should be constructed. So what is the purpose of index number? So we can explain it further with the help of this, that what is the purpose? Is it just for the price, the quantity, or the value index numbers? So just for example, if it is price, so these are the three types of index numbers. So what is the purpose of your study? Why do you want to make the index number? For what? Now, under price index number, if you take we have the wholesale price index. Now in it, what does it do? It measures the changes in the general price level of a country. So if it measures the relative changes in the prices of commodities traded in the wholesale market. So, So if you're talking about the general price level, you wanted to do that, then it will come under wholesale price index. So relative changes in the prices of commodities traded in the wholesale market. That is if you want to make that, then it will be wholesale price index. Now if you want to make the consumer price index, so what will it measure? Now if the purpose is to talk about these, that it will measure the average changes in prices paid by the specific base year. It measures the relative changes in the retail prices. So sometimes it's called the retail price index, and it is also known as because it affects the cost of living of a specific class of consumers. If you're going to make it like that, then it is also called the cost of living index. Now another purpose, if it's a purpose of quantity index number, so what is based on quantity if you want to do something with it? So what will you do? Okay, now let's just take quantity index numbers. So what is quantity index numbers? They measure changes in the physical volume of goods and services, goods produced and consumed in a given time period. So that's quantity. So they generally relate to industrial production, agricultural production, export, import, etc. For example, index of industrial production to the level of production in the base year. Similarly, the index of agricultural production in the level of agricultural production over the years. So whatever you're talking about. So that is quantity index number. So if you have the purpose of index number is to make value index number, then it is the product of its price and quantity. Value index number measures changes in the total value of items taken, such as sales, profits, etc. But generally they are not really very popular. So after purpose of index numbers, we come to selection of commodities. So what are the commodities that you're going to select? Okay. So in this, depending upon the purpose of index number, we select commodities. All commodities are not included in the construction of index number. Only a sample of commodities is considered. And when we are selecting commodities, we have to take the following points into consideration. For example, commodities must be representative. Commodities should be easily recognized. Commodities must be popular. Commodities must satisfy the criterion of comparability. So this is very important. So the second is, so what are the commodities that you're going to select? All right. So again, so commodities should be relevant. They should be representative of the taste, habits, and customs of the people for whom the index is constructed. And the total number of commodities should neither be too small nor too large. Because if it is too small, then the index number will not be representative. And if it is too large, the more representative shall be the index, but at the same time, the greater shall be the cost and the time taken. And generally what they do is, when we are making this for selection of commodities, we take up the standardized or graded commodities. That should be selected. So the third one is selection of a base year. So base year select B. Now PCB, purpose done, commodities done, and now we are going to do base year. Now this is a very important problem, to select a year which could be the base year, because this has to be for the conversion of current year prices to prices relatives based on the base year price. Now prices in the base year is taken as 100, and then indices for the other years are prepared. So if you have to make an index for any other year, that is prepared. Now base year should be a normal year, and it should be a recent one as far as possible, not very far. So that is very important, that what after all should be your base year? It should be a normal one. It should be free from abnormal conditions like war, famines, earthquakes, booms and depressions in the economy. Then uh, suppose we are studying 2019 or 18, one can't take a base year as 1951. Okay, that will be absolutely useless. Now, say while selecting the base year, choice has to be made between fixed base year and chain base year. In the fixed base method, we take a particular year as a base year and express changes in items on the basis of this year. Whereas in the chain base method, the base year goes on changing for every successive year. The preceding year is taken as a base year. So we have this kind of chain base year too. So we've done with purpose of index numbers. We've seen what are the commodities that you should select, which is how the problem about selecting the base year, what has to be kept in mind. Now we are going to do the next one, which is that what is the system of weighting? What weights should you take up? Now, suitable weights have to be considered. That means, in practice, all commodities do not have equal importance. So, according to John I. Griffin, weighting is designed to give component series and importance in proper relation to their real significance. And it varies from place to place also. So, when you are selecting weights, so how are you going to do it? So, like food, clothing, housing, transport are not of equal importance. Therefore, weights are assigned to each of these items. When all items are equally important, an unweighted index number is constructed. But if all items are not of equal importance, then weighted index number is constructed. And the weights are of two types. One is the quantity weights and value weights. So their choice depends upon the method selected for the construction of index number. Now, quantity weights are appropriate where importance to commodity is given according to their quantities bought and sold. So that's quantities bought and sold. And another one is, the second one is, the importance is given to the total expenditure incurred on commodities, then value of weights. In that case, then value of weights depend upon the total expenditure or how much have you spent on that. So these are the two ways. And the methods are aggregate value method and weighted relative method, which we will be doing later in the later classes. Now we come to the next one, A. So we finished with purpose, we finished with commodities, we finished with base year, we have finished with weighting. We are now talking about what average, selection of an appropriate average. Now, selection of an appropriate average is another problem which is involved here. So there are various types of average such as arithmetic mean, median, mode, geometric mean and harmonic mean, which can be used in the construction of index numbers. But in practice, only arithmetic mean and geometric mean are recommended. Geometric mean is considered the best type of average to be used for constructing an index number. Alright, so when you're talking about what average you have to use, so because they are specialized averages, a choice regarding average to be used has to be made. So since median ignores extreme values, and while arithmetic mean is affected by them, therefore theoretically geometric mean is considered to be the most appropriate average. So but for simplicity, in calculation we use the arithmetic average as we've already stated. So we've done P, C, B, W, A, and now we come to, that's the average we finished, and now we come to the price selection. Representative price selection. So what is a representative prices? So another step in the construction of index number is the collection of price quotation of the selected commodities. We may take either wholesale or retail prices of the selected items. Wholesale prices are generally lower than the retail prices. The consumer is required to pay only retail price. Therefore, and we know that as consumers, we pay only retail prices. Therefore, to prepare the consumer's index number, only the retail prices should be taken. But if the objective is to measure changes in the general price level, you're right, then we should take the wholesale prices into consideration. And then we have what is known as F, that is formula, which is the appropriate selection of an appropriate formula. The last step involved in the construction of an index number is to select an appropriate formula. Different formulae are used to construct index number, but it is necessary to select an appropriate formula. And ordinarily we find that it is the Fisher's method of computing index number is considered as ideal. And we will be doing all of these. Like we will be doing Laspier's, Paste's, Dobish and Bowley's method. So, the choice of formula depends both on the purpose of index number and the nature and extent of the data available. So please, in your notebooks, make this. Open your books, make the note for each of these points. Write a short note for each of these points. Sometimes you might just get one point instead of somebody saying, okay, what are the problems of construction of index number. Instead of writing all these points, they might just tell you, okay, what is a problem which one faces when one is selecting the base year. So I would want you to write a short note for each of the problem. About say 60 words to 100 will do for each of these. Okay? Because you can get short answer questions too. And with that, do your homework and you will be prepared for the lesson.